when I became a member of the council, I was surprised to hear from the planning commission that your name and business came up repeatedly because you were not following the conditions that were listed in the conditional use permit. Are you recording me as well?
No.
That's great. So those are my observations. What I have repeatedly heard from the planning commission is that you're not in conformance with the conditional use permit. And I've also heard that this is almost 3 years later, nothing's changed. Even though direction has been given, advice has been given you, and nothing's changed that I've been able to see. And so I think that's why we're here now, is we're reviewing whether or not, this is my comment, whether or not we as a city council will allow that business to continue in a residential area when it looks like a business, acts like a business. I don't know how else to describe it. I wish you well in your business, but personally I don't see how it can function in a residential area. That's my comment.
Can I say anything? I don't know if any time anybody's driven by that house without me stopping at the edge of the road, I'm sure they have a free line to pass by. Now, if you felt I was giving you a dirty look, Lee, I've never meant to. I've never given anybody a dirty look unless they're speeding.
I can sure you I was not. And I appreciate you stating what you stated. I've simply stated what I was doing twice. I don't bear any ill will toward you because of that. I'm just telling you what I'm doing.
And, you know, everybody thinks this is just a business. You guys all do realize that I was the guy that built the trophy for the fire department, their softball game. That's a donated time.
But we've done so much for so many people at no cost to the city. You come in, we got this broke, that broke, whatever. You stop by, you can do it. Doesn't matter, it doesn't mean it's not a boat, it's not a ridiculous, their lawnmower or their that. Yeah, you can keep it warm. It's a neighbor doing things for neighbors. A lot of it is that. There's no fee charge. As far as people crossing the road, when you go down the road, I'm sure there are lots of areas in the winter that people cross the road and don't look. It is what it is. Prior to our last meeting, there were a vote there, extra votes, and I don't deny that at all, but we really tried exceptionally hard to keep the number to the 6th with that 7th vote back and forth trying to get those out of there. So, yeah, you probably did see more, but we really tried super hard to keep that. When people drop off and pick up and you have to wait for a part or whatever, that has been an issue. But
Yes, you're describing how difficult it is to run a business in the
well, the problem is we have that lot across the street that we can use, and it wouldn't be an issue at all. However, the city doesn't want us to use it, so that's the problem.
I know this is very personal for you, but I think we try to look at it in a professional business kind of way, because when we look at you and your plea to the city with your business, then it's very compelling. I've been involved, and I know you know, I've been involved with you for the past year in the planning commission and things like that. I've heard many discussions. There is a lot of heartache on the planning commission between the members trying to decide what's right to do with you and your business. And so my heart definitely goes out to you. I do have a big part of me that really wants to see free enterprise and things like that, but there is a part of me that has a concern with it being in a residential neighborhood. I know that you have tried to stay within the terms of the guidelines that you were given, allow this kind of business in every home in the city, we would be in a commercial area. There's no denying that. And so we do have to be careful about that and respect the neighborhood that you live in. So I guess if I had any comment, I would like to see you be able to keep your business and be able to do that more on maybe a little bit smaller level, like a hobby as it was first applied for. So if I had a recommendation, it would be that you try to just maintain that business on your own property and not use the neighboring properties to store boats. I think if you could try to keep it on your own, that might be a compromise that could be achieved, that could work for you, and allow you to keep it in the city without losing that business life completely, because I think that's kind of the crossroads we're at. So that would be my suggestion. I'd like to see you be able to keep it, but cut it down a little bit because you live in a residential neighborhood.
I struggle with this one because you changed the conditional use permit and you were told you could have this program, or you should never have been allowed to have a conditional use permit for anything. That was not be used for the residential area. And I have heartache over that because it's going to be very extremely hard for you to keep the commitments that were made and the conditions that were put on. It's just going to be hard because you want it to be something that makes money, and you are in a residential area. And that makes it hard because we get complaints because you are there. And I can see this going both ways. I can see that we should revoke your conditional use permit and you have 30 days to clean your out and get it out of the city. Or we could give you a 30-day period that you can clean it out. You can gather up all your boats. You can have to make it back to the hobby that you started. And that you need to have to keep it that way. Or you would have to, then we have to do that. Exactly. You can have a maximum, no more than 6 boats in the city at one time, and you could use them as that gift, and you would have to stay within that frame. And no parking on other people's property, keep it there, so that you don't cause problems with everybody else. If you have to find a different place to store them, or do whatever you want to do, you can do that. But you are in your residential area, and so you have to keep it that. And it's up to the council, so we will make a vote.
Yeah, to clarify what you just said, so are you saying that they could keep the 6 boats on their property?
So, on your own property. If you could get them on your property, you have 6 boats.
Well,
No more.
What does it hurt to park 3 boats across the street that are way out in the street that nobody even sees?
Okay, the conditional use permit was granted to you, not to your neighbors across the street. If they would like to try and get a commercial conditional use permit or a conditional use permit to provide parking, they would have to go through the process to do that. You cannot have your business or whatever you're doing and involve everybody else to take care of it for you. In the beginning,
It was written right on the minutes.
when we
right
got
there.
that, they were here and they said we could park the boat across the street on their property. That was written when we got their original conditional use permit.
That's right.
It was written in the minutes, and I had to talk to our attorney about that. And they said that was bad. That's one of my heartaches, is because that was bad. Some things were said, and some things, you guys were given the permit in the first place, which you should never been given. I realize that.
But
That's
that's
what
done,
I'm
that
saying.
was agreed, so now you're saying we can't do that.
No, I'm saying you have to go back to the original stuff.
That is the original,
Vote, period.
okay, I understand,
On your
but
property.
it didn't, the original wasn't on our property.
I don't really care if it's on your property or not. If you want to go back to the 6 votes, that's where you're at, on your property. Nowhere else in the city, just your property, and you do it,
And not across the street.
not across the street.
That wasn't the original agreement.
Well, it is what it is.
Not when it's written right in the minutes.
It was written in the minutes, but it was never applied for or approved.
Right at the end of it says it's approved. I got the
Read
minutes.
it. Read it. You have this
Okay,
amendment
you
there.
guys tell us what you want us to do, and
we put boats in our backyard, is that an issue? Because obviously, I'm not gonna park 6 boats in my front yard. It's just not gonna happen.
Why did you ask for 6 votes in the first?
Because you guys said we can
We
park
own
across the
7
street.
boats.
You own 7 votes on your.
Well, we don't have those on our property.
No, I have a storage unit and everything else.
Right, but originally, you guys said we could park boats across the street. Edwin was here, they were asked, it was agreed, that's why we asked for 6 boats.
When I read back to the original, conditional use permit, it said, you may have only 6 votes, including your own, on your property.
And at that time, we weren't aware that 6 votes meant including ours. That was clarified the next time we came in,
That was written on the
right? But we misunderstood that. However, it was agreed upon that we could park across the street. And they are here now, you know.
And that's just my suggestion, that is not a vote. Now, we still
That's
have to
why we asked for 6 votes.
So, the vote will be either the conditional use permit that is revoked, or we make an exception, and let's just say that will be revoked. So, do you have any comments?
Yes,
Okay.
clarify, there should not have been a conditional use permit granted for 6 votes because of the way they came up, but they were granted that, and so we're sticking with.
Since it was already granted, the attorney said, we can revoke that because they are not staying in terms of that lease. So it can be
But
revoked.
the point is, if we were starting from scratch right now, there would not be.
There would not, it would never be granted. Because you do not issue that type of permit in residential area. A home occupation in our ordinances is operating in your home, not in
What
your
about the others?
area.
Are you reviewing all the others that are in the unit?
They are going to all be reviewed, yes.
The other question I had is, as it relates to the equity across the street,
Would it regulate?
but it is a possibility that something could be done there. But
They will
the
have-
reason why they're not allowed to park there now is because they don't have,
A
they
conditional
don't have a permit to be able to park somebody else's boats on their property.
Right, they have, everybody has this in their residential property, they can park their own vehicles or people that visit them, but you gotta have parking spaces for it. I mean, you can't park everywhere you want to.
That's why it's agreed that we could park there. That's why it's.
Okay, so, we're talking just about it, and what's generally allowed on a residential lot. You live in a residential lot, when you go to everybody else's residential lot, what do? You see them parking their stuff there, and that you don't see all the stuff coming in and out.
Look right behind the equity.
Yeah. We will take care of that, everybody else is. Okay.
I don't mean to
So-
point fingers, but,
Okay, so, we're dealing with this, okay,
I have no comment.
okay.
From what I understand, the conditional use permit is granted for the home occupation, home business, whatever you want,
No, it's only granted for home occupation, that's what it was granted
for home occupation in the home.
for.
Well, yes, and on the original application that I'm looking at, the question is, will a garage or accessory structure be used in connection with the home occupation? And it's checked no.
Garage.
Will the garage or accessory structure be used in connection with home occupation? And it's X, no. And if yes, submit plans for the structure.
See, that was the thing we weren't gonna build, so there was no plans for a structure.
No, what he's saying, you were not.
Will a garage be used in connection with home occupation? You said no.
And then read on, yes, so the plans for that structure, we weren't gonna build a structure. So we marked,
I don't
yes,
see that. All I see here is that you have explained that you want to use your neighbor across the street who has given permission to park. I mean, that's a whole other issue, but
no, actually, it's the same issue though, that was part of the agreement.
the whole, what I meant by the other issue is the fact that somebody else told me that you could do that, and they didn't have the conditional use permit.
But they came here with us that night, they were asked and we agreed. So, and they're here tonight too, I mean, they were
They
asked,
don't have the conditional use. But
they weren't
no,
told to get a conditional use permit at that time. Just check, so, do you have any other comments, Dave?
I just have one, just a question for you to ask. You say that you have these people that come in and drop the boats off, and then leave, and you look at it and say, oh, I've got to order this part, it's gonna take 2 weeks to get it here. The boat sits, would there be a possibility that maybe since it's a vehicle that can be moved, that they could come in and take the boat and leave with the boat and then bring it back when the part gets there, you can put it in?
Out of the 25 clients that I have here at UNF, I do that with, but I've got clients that come as far as Salt Lake. I've got clients that come as far as Willard, you know. If they were as close as Roy, yeah, I do that. If it's a part that's gonna take me more than a week or two, yeah, of course I do that. Or if I do a motor change.
We've got some of in Park City, and, yeah,
I understand that.
we have to work really close. But you have lots of clients.
Some days,
In the summertime, starting with the boat season, is when it's de-winterized, and ending winterized.
we've got 4 months that we can actually make money. The rest of them only go.
That's one of the reasons he's trying to get into the upholstery. And plus it will solve the problem of having the boat. And he could. So you're changing the businesses or what?
Well, he's trying to,
There's an evolution there.
A door.
what your conditions are, if you change or make any extensions, you have to have it approved first.
This is not changing the original
He wants to
agreement.
start trying to do, the original agreement was a offer, not a
It's
condition.
still a lot.
Okay, so, anything else, anybody else? Okay, so, we'll probably never agree with that, okay?
I worked with the railroad for 13 years, and the reason why I didn't go back is because it shattered my heel. I had only one other option, and I was trying to supplement our income with those. That's all there is to
You
it.
can't go back. Okay. Do you want to take a vote? Anybody else have any questions? Okay, we're either voting for, to continue it or to dismiss.
Can I say something before you go?
No, you can't, it's not a public hearing, sir.
I have one other question to ask. We talked about complaints from our neighbors.
What
Our
complaints
neighbors,
are
our neighbors are at our house a lot.
You know what, it might not be directly your neighbors. I didn't go back through all of those letters that were in the file. And I didn't go back to see who they were from either. So I can't tell you exactly who they were from, but there were complaints.
Did you ever bring up positive?
Well, not necessarily our neighbors, though.
Yeah, there was some positive after we, the last time we had the meeting. Some positive. That was the first time that there was action letters in the picture. So which is pointing out that, okay, we're gonna,
Are you saying that the choices are to revoke it or to carry on as it already is? As an issue?
no, if we carry on, then it's going to be revised. It will be back to the big vote period, and then we'll go see it. First, we have to decide if we're going to revoke it or carry on.
What do you mean carry on?
Okay, so my motion is,
Continue the discussion?
and decide what exactly, what they can do. Okay, so, does somebody want to make a motion to revoke or do you want?
I'll make a motion that we continue the discussion and see if we can come up to a workable agreement. I don't want to revoke it completely. I'd like to see if we can come to an agreement.
Okay, I need a second.
I'll second it.
Okay.
I got it.
I apologize. So, but, now we're to the point where we will work. Okay, so, now, we will come up with what we agree can be on that property. So,
You can have 6 votes, no more. Can they have the vote in their backyard?
You have room in the backyard?
There's a huge backyard.
Use backyard.
We just haven't, the only, I shouldn't say, there is we had a boat stolen 5 or 6 years ago that was like his forever boat that he'd grown up with and stuff, and we stole it and cut it up. And anyway, it's there. Someday he wants to rebuild it and actually put the fiberglass back together.
So you didn't get that?
We found it. Somebody dumped it off the dam at Pine View. And they cut all the motor, we took the motor out, cut all the gauges out, ripped all the upholstery up, and just cut holes in it so it's clean. Anyway, that is there. We really don't want to get rid of that because, like I say, he wants to actually fix it up someday for his dad. Whether that happens or not, I don't know. Okay, so do you want him to allow, say they can have 2 in the backyard?
Well, I have a question about that. So, how do you feel about putting the boats in your backyard? Do you feel like you might be, infringing on your backyard neighbors? Do you think that could
I would
be a problem?
definitely go and talk to her.
Do you have a privacy fence or anything?
No, and I've actually thought about that too. We talked about all of these things. We have one neighbor in the back, and I would definitely talk to her and see what her feelings are. We've talked to her before about various things, and she hasn't had any issues before, but we would definitely want to talk to her first. And I wouldn't, there's a lot of things that I wouldn't want to park in my grass. I wouldn't want to make it into a,
Anything we have parked back there is on a well-maintained
a base.
road base.
Road
And
base.
actually, I think that's the term of most conditional use agreements of it, because it's there parked on her surface. So I don't think we would want to help with that. Can I ask how many boats can fit in your parking strip, your driveway and your front yard? How many could you fit up there on your own property?
Our boat's really long, so it takes up one whole side of that parking strip, so we can only get one on the other side. Our boat's 26 foot, this is there. And if he has one that he's working on there at the garage, then, pull in and out, take it in and out of the garage, so that would take up the other side. We have, then in front of my garage, which we're not gonna park over there because I have one there.
So you could park one more.
No, we could actually park on 6 boats on our property,
On top of your in your front yard,
on our property,
including the backyard. So how many would be in the backyard?
probably 4. If I live with my mother.
I'll let you read. Okay, 6 boats parked on your property, and not scattered throughout the town. And, no more expansion for that one to the planning commission, or changing your original conditional use yet. Now, let me ask this question. Last time, we did talk about using the planning commission, you said that if we came up with anything, they would not approve it. So why do we want to present something for changing like 2 upholstery together if they're not going to approve it? Well, you can't ban if you want them to 6 votes. Well, I'm not talking about that, but anything, maybe we're talking about anything. So, you're just asking that upholstery is an expansion of what you're doing? If
I don't know if that's an extension, it's still working on boats.
If
I
you
mean,
start
that's
doing
kind of a blanket,
upholstery.
not a big thing.
On boats.
Yeah,
Okay, boats.
yeah, it's boat upholstery.
Yeah, and interior stuff. You fill out the
What is what is the original thing that I needed?
The original things that you're working on, motors and yeah, that's what
I,
yeah,
We just learned how to start doing upholstery and get our boats and cover for our boats. Usually do that.
So will you switch from doing the tune-ups and line repairs and just do it all, is that what you're doing?
That's hard to say.
I mean,
It
someone
doesn't seem
can,
like an expansion to me.
Maybe
Hard to do
someday.
boat work and the other is boats.
I agree.
That's what it looks like to me.
What our thought is if you were to start getting stuff like that, that would be a great year-round, not just 4 or 7 years. Like we just have some income coming in for us, also not 7 years.
Okay, so, if
But
you
that's
say,
not happening yet.
you can only have the 6 boats, parking on your property,
But, can I clarify that one little piece? So if you have a 6 boat and you have 4 in your backyard, are those on a solid surface?
mhm,
They're on concrete or paved?
It's road
it's
So
road
they,
base.
yeah, that's what I mean.
It's actually created for concrete.
Okay, so it's not your draft area.
okay, we're saying parking 6 boats on a solid surface within your property. And a whole street is allowed as far as your repair is concerned. Okay, and you can use your backyard to also hold cars, but it has to be on a hard surface, solid surface.
Well, I feel I should point out again that they said they weren't using American cotton because it's supposed to be a qualification. And if all the workers perform in the garage, then how do you get past that?
Doesn't that say the garage or something else that it says, if yes, attached plans?
How will be, or accessory structure be used in connection with home occupation? And it's checked, no, this is 34 minutes later.
But it says,
And the garage-
if you check yes, you have to submit plans.
But I think you were thinking of if you built something, it's, you have the plans for the garage. but
Yeah,
you-
that's exactly,
Because you can only use one side of that garage for your business.
that's what I was assuming, they were asking us if we were gonna build a structure, we're building a structure.
If it's asked to will the garage be used in connection with
So do you use your whole garage?
We have 2 garages. He uses the one side, I use the other side.
the two-car garage?
Mhm.
And what the mayor read from the ordinance is that you will not be permitted to use anything, you will not be able to use,
More than one side?
no, that's not the way I understood it.
Oh, for the
It has to be
25%.
somewhere else, they have to be able to keep park garages.
We can do the other one. I've done stuff with the other one.
Okay. You stand in your other part, where's your other garage?
On the other
South
side.
side of the house.
It's built in with the house, and then that garage is actually added on.
When I came over to you, which one did it go?
That was my
That
garage.
is the south garage.
Okay, so where's the other?
No, she came over to the north garage.
Oh, yeah, I have my curtains. Yeah, the other one is actually built in with the house itself. Like it's underneath the bedroom,
Okay, okay.
you know?
So you still built it?
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
let the
the
garage
other,
door go commercial.
yeah, but the other one is an add-on prior to the on the home.
All right, anything else? The other conditions on the original conditional use permit still are in effect. You still need to maintain, keep vehicles off the street, you need to arrange for parking of people that come, that can stay there, all of those things, I don't need to go over everything. And then I would like to encourage you that you need to work to find somewhere else. Anything else?
Does this sound like it's something that we're gonna work, and we're not gonna have problems coming back in the next little while? Is that gonna work for you if we did it that way?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
I'd like to make a motion. Okay. I'd like to make a motion that we, I guess not approve, but continue with the conditional use permit for Lansing Capiano, that your, permit is limited to your own property where you live, that it not exceed 6 boats limited to your own property, that all boats will be parked on a solid surface, and I would also make it a contingency that the approval is based on the approval of your backyard neighbor. And you would possibly be, parking back there, so on approval of, Debbie Johnson, I believe, right?
That's not. Okay, and the other thing I'd like to add is we will be reviewing every sticker. And let me ask you, are people gonna be driving by every month taking pictures? I hope that makes them alone. That's the question. You see if they're coming by, taking pictures. And it'll go back to this planning commission for review. Okay. Now, there are no questions. Once you talk to the egg lady, once you talk to the egg lady, that, and maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but is that gonna open a possibility with them getting the conditional use permit and that we can park the boat back over there so we don't have to park in the backyard? Is that any possibility? They would have to apply for it. I understand that, but if they did, no, not under the conditions that we just approved. You have to keep them on your own property. Okay? So if we find that you have scattered them all through the county, then you have violated. Okay, but what I'm saying is, if they get a conditional use permit, would we be able to, rather than parking the boats in our backyard, over in that field again? Or are you just not saying we'll never be able to park them over there again? Yeah, I don't know. That's really hard.
I think we know how they're gonna vote.
I guess what I'm asking is that can that be part of this? Say if they do, if we come to an agreement where instead of parking in our backyard, we could park across the street and it's still limited to 6 boats.
My motion was that we limit it to your own property. I think the vote before was to either revoke or continue the discussion. I voted to continue the discussion based on limiting it to your own property, and that was what my motion was. Someone else can make a different motion or not agree with mine, but that would be my recommendation.
And we added to this one. So, do I have a second on that motion?
I'll second.
Do we have any discussion on the motion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes. All right, so you're done, and so the motion is you have to be on your own property. Okay.
And what is the time frame?
For the 6 months?
No, did they have 30 days to do that? Do they have a day?
You have 30 days to get in compliance with your vote on your phone.
And then when is the 6-month review? Is that from this month?
From this month. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank
What's
you.
this other on the agenda, what's that pertaining to?
Pardon?
No, that's not you.
No, that's not.